Disney isn't backing down from its commitment to advancing an LGBT agenda. Its latest film, Thor, Love and Thunder, is set to be filled with LGBT storylines, leading some Christian groups to boycott against the movie. This all leads to the question, how should the church address the issue while offering love, hope, and healing?
I was a believer. I knew Jesus and I knew what scripture said, but here I was in these relationships.
Jeff Johnston, who once lived as a gay man, recalls what it was like when he told his Christian parents.
They were both sad and upset that I had been struggling with this all these years, but they loved me. They told me they loved me, and they said, if there's anything we can do to help you in this struggle, let us know what it is.
Johnston now serves as culture and policy analyst with Focus on the Family and is helping parents navigate gender identity discussions with their children.
We believe it's important that parents begin teaching their children at a young age about God's design for humanity, for relationships, and for marriage. You're not talking to kids about sex at this point.
21% of Generation Z Americans, those born between 1997 and 2003, identify as LGBT, nearly double the number of millennials who do so. With that in mind, Johnston encourages Christian parents to talk and remain engaged.
I've seen this tear families apart. I encourage parents to maintain a relationship with their child, to do what you can to maintain a relationship with them while you're still holding on to biblical truth.
It's a subject Dr. Preston Sprinkle, head of the Center for Faith, Sexuality, and Gender, often addresses, as parents whose children struggle with their sexuality seek his help.
Somehow we need to not candy coat the truth, not water down the truth, but as good missionaries, we need to realize how can we best communicate this truth in a way that's not just going to be heard by a younger generation, but is going to be believed and celebrated.
Sprinkle, author of People to Be Loved and other related books, says that means approaching the conversation with sensitivity and compassion.
If my 13-year-old came home one day and says, all right, I want you to call me they, them. Here's my new name. I'm gonna be like, let's hold the phone here. Let's have a, no, I would very graciously want to understand why they want to be called this, just really show that I care about you as a person, 100% primary. That's the fundamental. I care about you as a person. I care about what you're going through.
The subject is a tough one for many in the faith community who hold to the importance of scripture, such as Genesis 1:27, which says God created them male and female. Sprinkle says while a growing number of churches are open to addressing the topic, others remain hesitant.
I think we would be pastorally irresponsible if we said, I will not disciple the people God's entrusted me in some of the most pressing ethical questions facing the church today. There are some more nuanced ways in which we can embody both grace and truth in a way that I think churches would probably grow if people realize, hey, this church is really engaged in this conversation in a real thoughtful, humanizing way. I think your church would probably gain more. You might lose some people, but I think there's going to be more people that are like, oh my gosh, finally a church is willing to talk about this. So yeah, silence isn't an option in 2020. It wasn't an option in 2010, but we got away with it. 2022, it's not an option.
Meanwhile, Sprinkle says the church's job is to stand for biblical truth while doing so with biblical grace.
When you start talking to actual people, it does sometimes interrupt your presupposition. Hear stories, talk to people, ask questions. I mean, it doesn't mean you agree with everything they say, but people get blown away and they find out you're a Christian and you're interested in them as a human person.
Charlene, CBN News.